watching Prime Morning. It's time for us to delve into what the newspapers have for us. And every time we come your way for News Flash, we have two people representing the two political parties, which are the NDC and the NPP. On the ticket of the NDC is Adele Umar, who is here every Wednesday. Good morning, Adele.
Good morning, Rosalie.
How are you?
I'm good. You?
I know I always give you pressure.
Oh, I hear pressure.
Last night I was giving you pressure.
I know, right? I know. It's fine. It's all right.
Anyway, I give you pressure because I'm Paul Graham. I don't give you pressure because he's like like immediately he goes though, it's on his status. He even posts before I will even post. Good morning to Paul Graham, Bochidankwa, who's representing the NPP. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning,
How
Rosalie.
are you?
I'm well. I can't complain.
Thank you so much.
I'm comforted by the scriptures of God.
You're looking well this morning.
Thank you.
How is campaigning going?
Well, you know, nominations have not opened yet,
okay.
So everything that we are doing is
underground.
So there's no campaign.
All right.
Before I fall bridge to before I fall bridge to the voting. But right. Really to say a very good morning to you. I like your colorful outfit, and to say a very good morning to my friend Adele, who is in opposition and would remain in opposition for a considerable number of time. And it's a very good morning to your viewing public, and a very good morning to my constituents, Achimebo North, my chairman, Seidu, and the rest of the executives. I greet all of them.
My producer says if you one day contest as a flag bearer for the NPP, she'll definitely become one to vote for you.
I don't think that...
become a delegate.
I don't think that aspiration for the highest office of presidency should be anything that should be discussed at this stage. I think that really just an opportunity to serve continually is what is relevant. I don't seek to be overly ambitious to run for presidency. I seek to put myself up for service anytime the opportunity avails itself. So we're climbing the ladder one step at a time, and not to go for bigger fruits that are higher than us. We go for low-hanging fruits. Okay. And then God will decide the rest. All
right. On that note, we have a lot that the newspapers are reporting, but we'll try to discuss three main topics, actually. We know Charles Bissue is being chased by the special prosecutor. He received a letter last week, but he didn't present himself to the special prosecutor. Yesterday, he did speak as well, saying that he is not running away. He's always available for investigations. Also, we know that John Dramani Mahama, who is a flag bearer for the NDC, has been sued by an individual, so he does not contest as a flag bearer for the NDC in 2024. Where will that case go to? We don't know. For the NPP, there are so many people who have picked the presidential forms. We don't know what the future holds for them, but definitely one will emerge as a winner. And since we have two people here representing the two political parties, they are the right people for us to have this conversation. Let's start off with the Daily Graphic newspaper. Stalled road works pose a danger. Commuters and motorists call for help. 10 million Ghana card holders without TIN, and that's without the TIN. Let's consolidate constitutional democracy, says Speaker. Charles Bissue dodges OSP invitation. Okay, like I said yesterday, he said he hasn't dodged anybody. Buwashi residents demand relocation of mechanic shop. Committees of Parliament to probe killing of 5 suspected land guards. That'll be all for the Daily Graphic newspaper. Let's do the Daily Statesman newspaper. The alternative not a choice. President assures Ghana won't return to Mahama's doomsaw. Intim rally support for Charles Opoku in Assin North. Kadeg calls for thriving ground in automobile industry. Some story at the back page as well. Steve Barnes' column, heavyweight boxing has become a relentlessly boring pantomime. Okay, AFCON 2023 qualifiers. Ghana defender Gideon Mensah ruled out of Madagascar clash. What happened that he got ruled out? All right, probably we'll find out about that, more about that when Nathaniel comes over. The Finder newspaper, EcoBank rewards 53 customers in double salary promo reloaded. NIA extends premium registration to additional 5 regions. Over 100 whole central MPP coordinators, polling station executives back Dr. Akoto. And we all know that Dr. Akoto is also vying to become the flag bearer for the NPP. Alan promises strategic partnership with private sector, and it's costly not to invest in energy to spur industrialization, President Akufo-Addo says. So, let me do the Daily Guide newspaper, then we can quickly delve into our very first topic. The Daily Guide newspaper reads, Leave Dumso to Mahama, Nana teasers. Special prosecutor chases Bissue over seized gold, excavators and cars. MP calls for probe in Botiano killings. Opuni appeal hearing today. Opuni is still, oh my goodness, this is something else. It's been one of the longest running hearings. Cocoa price up by 15.2%. I know the cocoa sellers now will be a bit happy. Entertainment stories in here. Aviation Youth Mentoring Program hosts Career Day. Who is behind Miss Bell's pregnancy? I don't know. Maybe Esidwa will tell us about that when it's time for what's trending. Some business as well. Government support infant food production. Stanbic Bank reaffirms STEM education commitment. Ghana is ready for investors, says Dr. Efriye Akoto. And sporting here, GFA Lord Betway's contributions for Women's League development. Real ready for Mbappe bid? Okay, quite interesting. French Giants denied promotion after fan assault, and pillow fight not dangerous. GES was approving of pillow fights not too long ago. It's on hold because I think some parents are not too happy about it, but they're trying to let us know that it's not dangerous, so it should still be practice in schools, but some parents are not too comfortable about it. Well, my guests are seated. I've already introduced them, so we'll start with the Charles Bissue case. And Special Prosecutor has invited Charles Bissue over the seized gold and excavators and cars. Of course, we know that Professor Frimpong Boateng brought out his own statement to the president, and it got leaked. It wasn't supposed to have been leaked, but it got leaked some way, somehow. And Charles Bissue's name was present. When investigations commenced, it wasn't Charles Bissue that was invited initially. It was rather Professor Frimpong Boateng that got invited. Now is the turn of Charles Bissue. However, he didn't show up when it was time for him to show up. And it looks like people are saying that, he's running away from the special prosecutor. But yesterday he came out to debunk that, and he said he's available for any questioning because he has nothing to hide. Let me start off with you. Who should I start with? Paul Graham, let me start with you. Your comment on it.
So, Rosalie, very good morning to you, and very good morning to your viewers. You recall that these conversations are coming at the backbench of the Interministerial Committee report that was submitted to the President. And the President referred that report as well to the CID and then also to the Office of the Special Prosecutor. As mandated by law, the Office of Special Prosecutor is supposed to investigate corruption and corruption-related activities. And so I'm aware that persons that have been named in the reports, allegations that have come against individuals in the report, those persons are being called to offer statements. And so the chairman of the committee, the professor, was called by the Office of Special Prosecutor to write a statement. Same with Charles Bissue. I'm aware that all the persons that have been named and alleged to have been involved in some acts of illegal mining have been also called by the CID to make reports as well. I think that it's all well and good to allow state institutions to operate. The President has stated very clearly that he's going to fight corruption. He's shown extreme leadership to that effect. He set up the Office of the Special Prosecutor. The President also gave clear mandate to the Interministerial Committee to achieve a number of key indicators, 8 key indicators. First was to strengthen existing agencies. The second was to make sure that there's an alternative livelihood program going on. The third is to make sure that water bodies are restrained, so persons that are doing illegal mining in water bodies are supposed to restrain. The fourth is to ensure that other persons that need to do responsible mining are given an opportunity to do responsible mining. The government has struggled enough success as it relates to the fight against illegal mining. We've had huge conversations with stakeholder bodies, including the chiefs, because you know that the lands belong to the chiefs. They are the custodians of the lands, and we have ensured that any person that is involved in illegal mining is brought to book and is facing the law. we launched Operation Halt 1. We continued with Operation Halt 2, which is ongoing, led by the Ghana Armed Forces. We are decommissioning sites. The president as well ensured that we bring in mercury-free machines. Mercury-free machines are supposed to ensure that persons that are doing responsible mining do not use the water bodies to clean up their gold. And so they use the mercury-free machines to clean up their gold. We've also ensured that we have excavated lands that have been excavated over the years. We've refilled those lands. So a number of efforts that government has put in into the fight against illegal mining is unparalleled. We have also ensured that there's an alternative livelihood program in the various communities where mining is ongoing.
Is it working? Are all these working?
Absolutely. The report
because
captures
we
that.
are actually seeing and hearing the increment of, these illegal miners. Let's take a look at what just happened at the Anglo Gold Ashanti mine, where the 300 people were trapped. And the questions that came in from people out there was, why do we have a whole 300 people being trapped there if the president is fighting? Why don't we see reduction in numbers? Why are we seeing an increment in the numbers?
Anglo Gold is not an illegal site. Anglo Gold mining site is a very legal...
I didn't talk about Anglo. I'm talking about the illegal miners that got trapped in the Anglo Gold sector.
Anglo Gold.
Yes.
Okay, Anglo Gold goldfields. It's our government that restored it. It was clearly dead. President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo sought to restore Ghana's hope back to Gold Coast. And so Anglo Gold was restored by our government. And so the people that were trapped there were not involved in illegal mining as it is.
They
were involved in illegal mining.
Yes, they were.
300 of them were involved in illegal mining.
They were involved. There was a statement to that effect. When they, to the extent that they had military presence, so if you come out, they will arrest you. We all heard about it.
So very
and
clearly,
so they were involved in illegal
very
mining.
Clearly, you could see government's efforts in the fight against illegal mining.
But the question here is, why are we seeing an increment? Why not a reduction? Because what we need is result. That's all we are looking for.
Absolutely.
So yes, the government can fight, but what are the results on the ground?
I think the results are very clear. I mean, you clearly stated that the military are always at the door front waiting to arrest the people. So there is a desire to continually be involved in illegal mining, which is why our government is ensuring that people restrain themselves from being involved. We've put in measures in place. We've brought in the Alternative Livelihood Program, which I mentioned earlier on, which is to bring young people who do not have any alternative livelihood to be involved in that program to get a livelihood for themselves. That restrains them from being involved in illegal mining. We've also ensured that we've regularized small-scale miners who ordinarily were not regularized. Our government has regularized them so that they can do responsible mining.
So now what happens to Charles Bissue? That's the main issue here. He didn't show up. Of course, we are hearing that there were some missing excavators, which the NDC has spoken about severally on several platforms. Finally, Special Prosecutor is calling on him to come answer, but he's not available.
I think he's going to be available. He mentioned that he's available to meet the office of Special
But why did he not show up?
I'm not
Charles
Bissue.
Timelines, okay.
I can't
but do you think there's something wrong somewhere? Why he didn't show up?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, you know that when these issues come up, media has a way of displaying it in other sectors. I am in no doubt in my mind that every single individual that is invited by the Office of the Special Prosecutor will show up and make themselves available for corruption and related activities. Okay. And I'm in no doubt in my mind that all these persons would have a good cause in terms of helping the Special Prosecutor arrive at a very good decision.
Right. Adele?
Rosalind, let me start off this conversation. First off, a warm good morning to my brother once more, and then to you. Let me start off this conversation by tackling the issue of Galamsey in itself. You know, it is something as critical as water. It's not one that you can have any compromise on. I say this because it is the basic unit that each and every one of us require. And it doesn't matter where you're coming from, whether you're from East Legon or you're from Choko. We all need water. Now, having said that, it takes me back to why we do investigations. Rosalind, if I suspected for any reason that there's a brother sitting here who is doing something untoward, certainly if I walked out to him and say, Moses, are you into Galamsey? Even if he was, I'm sure he would not tell me I am into Galamsey. You know why? Because legally, it is not even acceptable to incriminate yourself. It is not. So if Palgrave was to send me to court over any allegation, it is unacceptable for me to, volunteer evidence against my own self. Now, this is the reason why people go into investigations. In Ghana, for example, we have the special unit who would walk into people's homes, act as though they are weed smokers, act and, pretty much sometimes take a little bit of sniffs of cocaine and all of that, just so they can get in the midst of criminals and then be able to investigate. I have heard the president talk about the fact that he was going to use the ANAS principle, and we've all seen how it has come about. We've seen how ANAS has been attacked over and over. My argument is basic. You cannot have video evidence of people taking monies, of excavators getting missing, and then there is no one to answer for it. It just doesn't make sense. For me, the first time Charles Bissue was cleared, I was amazed. Because it will get to a point in this country, if we're not careful, it will get to a point, someone will probably see another person holding a human being's head and cutting it off. And then we'll still sit down and say, oh, it was doctored.
We hope it doesn't get there.
I'm just saying. We'll just sit and say, oh, it was just doctored. If you know what mercury can do, and you know what cyanide can do. Recently, I was watching in the news where certain parts of Central region, women are giving birth to kids without certain features. If you know what these two things can do, then you know that it doesn't matter if you buy your foodstuffs from Accra Mall, or it doesn't matter whether you buy your foodstuffs from Agboboloshi, because none of us drives from here and goes any other place to buy apart from the markets. Our foodstuffs are being watered with these rivers. Our animals feed from these rivers. So it is not just the crops, it's not just the tomatoes, it's not just the onions, it's not just the cabbage. We're saying your animals too, the cows, the sheep, the goats. So for me, I am extremely worried because, look, this government has proven beyond bound that anytime there's anything that has to do with solving a problem, they're not available.
But Adele, we are seeing the special prosecutor invite him. Let's even say that in the past he got cleared. Fair enough. Now the special prosecutor is chasing him. He has clearance. There was a warrant for his arrest so that investigation could go ahead. He didn't show up, but he's saying that he'll show up. So we are seeing the government do something, aren't we?
So there are certain things that are just critical and don't have time, space. When you're dealing with issues of water, we're sitting here, this whole building is burning to ashes. We have what it takes, which is the extinguisher, to quench it. We leave the extinguisher lying down. It doesn't make sense. 2 years, back and forth. He's walking, moving up and down. You understand what I'm saying? I'm saying that there's a reason why we punish people. It is not the crime.
But you don't just punish, you have to investigate.
Exactly. So there was there was a step forward. Mm-hmm. What was the step forward? Anas Armiel did an investigation. It is already made proof. We've already submitted that to government. It doesn't have to take this time to prosecute. If we have to do something about our constitution, let's do that. But I'm saying that at the end of the day, within this time frame, even if it took you 6 months to get somebody punished, what you're doing is that you're creating more problems. So, for example, like we're sitting here today and we're talking about 300 people who have just lost their lives. I'm saying if you have started punishing people, not just anybody, people in responsible places. These people do not go into the mines because they want to go into the mines. They go into the mines because there are people up there who are holding on to them.
But we always know that there's a process, right?
I'm not disputing that.
And I'm saying that, let's roughly say, again, I'll go back to what I said. He was cleared. Now, investigations are ongoing. Again, there was a report that, made us aware that there is something wrong, and so investigation has to commence again. When we look at Opuni's trial, it's also ongoing. It's been ongoing for a while.
You believe anything will come out of this?
Well, nobody knows what the future holds.
So I'm telling
Why
you,
don't you?
I don't.
Why?
Listen, look, Professor Frimpong Boateng spoke about illegal mining. They said he's a liar. Alistair Matthias spoke about the president and the things that is ongoing. They said he's a liar. Charles Bissue was held on camera. They said it's a lie. What is true? What has ever been true?
What if it was a lie?
What if
it was a lie?
What if? Seriously? With all this? What if it's a lie? With all the evidences available? Okay, so let's say Professor Frimpong Boateng made some claims against illegal mining. Truth be told, is it true that even after 2018, when the government has indicated that no mining equipment should pass through our ports, is it true that the mining equipments were still passing through the ports? Yes, it's true. That is common knowledge. Why? We said that nobody is supposed to go into the forest and the mine. We didn't see people mining. We sent them. Did Gabi call Frimpong Boateng? Yes, he did. Is Alaska still mining? Yes, they are. What proof do you want? I'm saying that, look, at the end of the day, this is something that is critical, and the president has to sit up and look at it. This is a president who indicated that I'm going to put my presidency on the line. Why? Why? Because this is something that is critical. Can you imagine sitting in your home, going to work, earning your own money, your own sweat, and going to have to buy mercury and cyanide into your tummy? Do you know what it means? 10 years from now, if we don't do anything, it is going to be critical. I am calling on the president. I'm calling on my brother. All of us, this is something that is critical. You have kids. They're coming. You know, we all have kids. You know, and they're drinking from this. They're eating from this. Some are giving birth. And we're all worried about what is really going on. At the end of the day.
Adele, will we agree that the president and his team are fighting? They are making all the effort. We see it happening, Aaron.
Where?
We should agree if we see the fight happening.
Have you seen the waters?
But are they not working? It's not a one-day job. It's a gradual process.
For how many years?
Is it a one-day job?
That's why I'm telling you that something as critical as water doesn't have time. You're telling me that you want to move this book from here to that place. You know that in a second, I can just get it here. It takes me 20 seconds to move this book from here to here. It's normal? No, it's not normal.
Well, if it's not normal, we're expecting the NDC to have fought it to them.
I'll tell you something. You know, in 2014, when this issue started, I remember critically the time, the meetings that were held. The former president, John Dramani Mahama, was actually flying over, you know, the Ashanti region. And then he saw the mess. We started work on it. We came and sat down. I remember the time there were issues that were raised, especially because of Chairman Wontumi, because there were certain excavators that were burnt at the time, which belonged to Chairman Wontumi, and, you know, the MPP came at us that, you know, this is not how to fight it and all of that. See, when you have an opportunity to be in opposition, I remember how hard we pushed at the time. But they didn't give us the support. This government has had the support of everybody. Everybody. They didn't give us the support back then. They told us that, oh, it was unacceptable. We were trying to get people from getting their food, and we are going after Chairman Wontumi and blah, 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 and all the mess. But you see, what is amazing is this. You've been in opposition. You saw it. You saw what was going on. You saw what we tried to do. You said it was unacceptable. You had different ways of doing it. And then you come into power 7 years, and this is it. It's not excusable.
Paul Griff, you want to say something about it before we move on to our next
We
topic?
have definitely done better than the NDC as it relates to the fight against illegal mining. I think it's very clear. It's evidential. They didn't set up the office of the special prosecutor. We did. They didn't have bringing mercury-free machines to clean the water bodies. We did. They didn't set up alternative livelihood program. We did. They didn't reclaim the lands that have been evacuated. We did.
That's not true.
They didn't engage chiefs as stakeholders. We have. They didn't regularize responsible small-scale mining. We have. They didn't go against people that are doing illegal mining to decommission their sites. We have. So what did they do?
Okay. Well, what did they do? That's a question. Another thing that was trending yesterday, because an individual has actually sued John Dramani Mahama because he says John Dramani Mahama is not eligible to contest as the flag bearer. Now, this is what Ghana Web says. Former President John Dramani Mahama has been sued by a Ghanaian citizen over his bid to vie for a second presidential term on the ticket of the NDC. In the suit filed by the plaintiff, Kenneth Kwabena Ejay Kranchi, he wants the Supreme Court to disqualify the former president from contesting as a flag bearer of a political party or the presidency in the future. According to him, the Constitution, through Article 66(1) of the 1992 Constitution, indicates that a person seeking a second presidential term must be a sitting president, and in the case of former President Mahama, he is only seeking to recontest after being out of office for about 8 years. Let me start with this. Who wants to go first? Because I see.
I don't really mind.
Okay, Adele, let's go, because this is your political party.
Listen, it's obvious, and it gets obvious by the day, that I know you indicated earlier.
This is an individual.
Yeah, you can say that.
Citizen.
You can say that.
Did he say any political party?
Yeah, you can say that. It's
Okay.
acceptable, yeah, because Ken Kwanchi doesn't basically go on platforms and campaign, but we know where he is. Everybody knows where he is. You see, what they have to understand is this. Whether they like it or not, the former president will contest 2024. And inshallah, we would win that seat in 2024, regardless of what they do. Regardless. You see, if His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo had lost 2020, he would have come back.
Are you sure?
He would have come back, knowing who he is.
Well, it didn't happen, so we can't
Fair
say
enough.
that.
I'm saying that.
We are just assuming.
No problem. I am assuming.
Yes.
I take responsibility for
Exactly.
that. I'm saying that he would have come back. The former president has done beyond what any government had ever done if I take away President Nkrumah.
Really?
I'm telling you.
Tell us what he did that nobody has done.
Look, I can sit here. The man is basically just a problem solver. He deals with the issues from the roots and then cuts it off at the top.
So what?
I can sit here, listen, I can sit here in the top of my head, think about any of the sectors and just tell you what we have done to solve a problem. The NPP has not succeeded in solving one legacy problem in this country. Let me mention one.
Tell us yours. Sell it to us.
You know what? I'll share with you what happened with the energy report in 2014. In 2014, when we had the energy report, that indicated that we needed to solve 3 issues with our energy sector. One was the fact that we needed to do something about capacity because we didn't have enough capacity. That was one, at peak periods. The second thing had to do with the fact that we needed to find our own source of gas because we're having to buy from Nigeria, the West African pipeline getting broken, and then what happened in 2014, the Doomsa and the likes. The third thing that we needed to resolve was the issue of funding, because you need money to buy crude and all of that, because all these 3 things will play a major role for our industries going forward. In 2014, that was 2013. In 2014, the president looked at it. Immediately, we started having issues with our lights. We started with the issue of capacity. Then we dealt with the issues of Ameri, the AXA, and all of that, of which they had actually made a lot of noise. They came back, they have re-signed it and signed another 200 megawatts of AXA again. We did that. That was capacity. We didn't stop there. We went into the issues of solving the issues of gas because we need the gas. Then we gave you what? We gave you the Atuabu gas pipeline. We gave you the Sankofa, the ENI. We gave you the Jiname. Why? Because we needed to have our own gas to be able to solve that problem. We didn't stop there. We went again to solve the issues of what? Of funding. What did we do? Energy Sector Levy Act. We gave you the Energy Sector Levy Act. At the time that we left office, we had some funds in it. This government has gotten 24 billion from that fund, which they have used today to collateralize and taking loans from. This is what they do. I'm telling you, every time. And so we resolved the issue of Dipso. We gave you gas today at Tuabo, even though we owe in excess of 1 billion when it comes to gas. But we owe state institutions. They are ours. Atuabo alone was worth $1 billion worth. The 24 billion you got from ESLA, how much are you taking from IMF? 36 billion? 36, that's it? We gave you 24 from one piece of an initiative. So I'm saying they have not succeeded. You talk about we have done.
No, we're talking about what you have done. So let's not talk about what they haven't done. No problem.
So I'm basically just I'm saying. See,
yes,
it is important to sometimes juxtapose because when you do, then people can tell the difference.
Okay. So that's why you're doing like that.
I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you for a fact that look, the former president, within this time in 2014, if you remember, look, the man was basically growing gray hair overnight. It was that bad. We couldn't sleep. We're basically just out of touch.
Why?
Barbers, electricians, the basic things people needed to be able to survive. This is how bad it was. Of course, in the house of the politicians, you would get the generators running. You would get people would probably walk to the places to buy fuel, the filling stations.
That they solved the doom solve.
I have an article. I'll read for you when he comes. Okay, that was published by Joy, where the former the vice president, the current vice president, then a candidate, indicated that look, we don't have to give credit to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for fixing Dumso.
I think you spoke about it too.
The last time, right? We don't have to do that. Why? Because he inherited an economy without Dumso. It is his own mismanagement and negligence that has led us to Dumso. So how do we praise him for solving a problem he created? That is ridiculous. Because we didn't create it. Kufuor had it. Rawlings had it. We didn't go to Akosombo to go and pray for water. We said, let's do something different. The world is changing. It's no more, this hydro. Now we're doing thermal. So we got into it. We solved the problem. Tell me one legacy problem you solved.
Okay, let me come to Paul
He's
Grave.
coming and he's winning, inshallah.
Paul Grave, let's talk about it. John Dramani Mahama has been sued that he shouldn't go for a second term because per the Constitution, this is what Ken is saying, you know, if you have to go for a second term, you ought to be a sitting president.
Rosalind, it's very interesting times. You stated that a Ghanaian citizen has sued the former president. One of the good things about the law is that it's at the behest of the Supreme Court to bring interpretations. I'm not particularly interested in the suit. You know why? Because for us as a new patriotic party, we are going into a major primaries on the 4th of November 2023 to elect our flag bearer. I am in no doubt in my mind that whoever the delegates so desire to be the leader of the next MPP government, that person would be a greater competitor to John Dramani Mahama.
Okay.
I have stated that the Sankofa nature of John Dramani Mahama is not one that the Ghanaian people need to be reminded of. I have not seen any single legacy that John Dramani Mahama might have led.
But he just mentioned a lot.
What did he mention?
It's nothing to us.
Atuabu.
It's not anything.
The Ghanaian people are aware what President John Agyekum Kufuor did as it relates to Atuabu. Government is successive. I'm surprised that Adele is seated here.
Also, he continued with Atuabu.
Claiming that Atuabu was started by John Dramani Mahama. The history is there. The facts are there. I don't want to recall that.
What about Esla? What about any?
But for us, as a political party, there are a number of projects that we have brought into the country that has moved beyond becoming a government policy to become a civic responsibility of the Ghanaian people. Number of them, which were not existing until we came.
Let's mention a few.
Oh, I can mention as many as
Please
you want.
go ahead.
Free SHS is undoubted. The Ghanaian people are overwhelmingly excited about that. One district, one factory is undoubted. The Ghanaian people have seen the industrialization of what we have brought into the country. Assembling of vehicles. The Ghanaian people have seen the assembling of vehicles that we have brought. Digitalization of the Ghanaian economy.
I think out of all you have mentioned, the digitalization is what probably is very, very top notch because people will say that the experience, and especially, let me use even Google Map location. You know, back then it was a struggle. They tell you find that yellow kiosk, but may not turn watching and all of that. But now it's not like that, which is that we will applaud you for that. But now let's talk about free SHS. We know there's been a lot of issues with free SHS. We even talk about the school feeding issue here. We speak about the accommodation. We speak about textbooks and all. Now aside free SHS, you also spoke about one district, one factory. So many people are saying they haven't even seen the factory, and we know that the ministry has also spoken that yes, we are still working. It's not that it's completely done. We said we are doing it, and it's still ongoing. So we are not seeing so much of the industries that we were promised, probably 6 years ago. So the kind of things you're mentioning, a few Ghanaians might say, yes, it's being said, but we are not experiencing it like that.
That's inaccurate. I mean, Rosalind, I would encourage you to send your cameraman to the grounds.
I have been on the ground. I haven't seen much.
The factories have
been
completed.
My area, I haven't seen any.
Which area do you live?
Lakeside Estate.
We don't have a factory in Lakeside Estate.
Okay, where do you have it?
All our factories are scattered around the length and breadth of this country.
I mean, Adenta areas. I mean, all that areas I drive there.
We have built over 100+ factories in this country that are operational, from textiles to ceramic to roofing, tiles, to a number of factories.
I'm not saying you haven't built it.
Yes, and completed.
I'm saying that my area, but I know that you have built some.
There are factories.
Yes.
But Rosalind, your area is not Ghana.
Oh, it's part of Ghana.
Obviously, it's part of Ghana. Obviously, it's part of Ghana.
Yeah, we
but
vote.
It's not the,
we vote. We pay taxes. Your
area is not the only part of Ghana. We have built over 100+ factories in this country. If you have time, I can list all of them for the Ghanaian people to be aware. And then also
you can list all 100?
I can list all 100,
wow.
but you don't have a lot of time.
I don't have, but you can give me just 10. Let's do 10.
Okay, sure.
10 is fine. I think 100 would be too much, but 10 is fine.
I'll refer to it and then just let you know the number of factories that we have built.
While he's looking forward, can I come in briefly? See, 1D1F, we've supported, he mentions 100.
So I have my factories here.
Yes,
I don't take long to get my facts.
I like that.
So Palm Pharmaceuticals, they manufacture pharmaceutical products. It's in Equipim South. Employed direct and indirect, close to about 550 people.
Fantastic.
Prefos Ghana Limited, they manufacture street lights and poles, including delivery of electrical related services. It's in Edriso, in the Ashanti region. Employed close to about 230 people direct. Bromftom Portfolio, they manufacture toilet roll. Employed 105 people. Osiadan is already an existing company that, because of the rationale behind one district, one factory, we also empower existing companies. You know, Osiadan
so will
is
you
a
add
wager.
that to your one
Because the government empowers them as well.
Okay.
Anchored Industries, Ishad, Shai Okoduku, they manufacture roofing sheets.
Almost all
Limited,
of them are
it's in Ningo
already
Pram
existing,
Ningo
but
Pram Pram.
empower them.
They produce construction industry, zero carbon. They produce briquettes and sawdust to export into the market. Skyline Steel Limited, they produce roofing
Another
sheets.
existing company?
Springs and Bolts Company, they manufacture U-bolts and leaf springs and trailer suspension. LK International, they distribute motorbikes, tricycles and bicycles in Tamale. Shaba.
That's a fresh one. That's a fresh company, right?
Yeah.
So we know that there are some existing ones.
List.
Yes,
so
please go ahead.
Me.
We've done 10. Have you done 10?
I've even got into 13.
Okay.
Saint ceramic products. It's in Tema. Employed close to about 850 people. Kedah Ceramics in Shaman, they employ 2,797
That's an existing company already.
People. Kitakrachi Timber Recovery, they manufacture robust underwater logging system to recover trees from the water lake. It's in the Sojaman, employed thousands of people. Volta Forest Products Company, they're into wood processing in Hohoi.
So wait,
employed 4,000 people.
You've done a lot. Let me hold on.
Close to about 125
now I'll let you hold on
district,
here.
One district, one factory.
My thing is, a lot of Ghanaians have already come out to say these are companies that were existing. The promise initially was to build from the scratch to the top and we employ. But we are talking about companies that were existing already. And the numbers that you are mentioning that have been employed, sometimes even in that area, they don't have that kind of numbers there. So how do they employ over 4,000 in a small area?
Rosalind, you don't see that people migrate from one place to another place because of work?
In Ghana here?
Of course.
Really?
Of course, 100%. I know people who move from Accra
to go and work in the Volta region?
To go and work in the Volta region. You don't know that?
Okay.
Yes, there are a lot of people.
So they go in the morning and come in the evening?
No, they don't go in the morning and come in the evening. They relocate.
Okay.
So they migrate from one region to another region.
That's what I'm saying, is that you're looking at the region, you're looking at the size of the region. The number of people there right now, and we are saying they've employed 4,000 people.
Yes. The region may not have that number of people prior to, but once the industry is open, it expands the capacity of the region.
So where have we been in Ghana all this while?
Of the region.
Because what you're saying is a little bit strange to me. 4,000 is the numbers that I'm a bit alarmed about.
Strange.
Because we're looking at an area like this where we haven't heard that the area has been overly developed. We haven't heard that people have migrated there so much. And yet this area, one company has employed over 4,000.
Rosalind, which area is less than 100 people? You tell me.
I know there's none. But
yes.
I mean, we are looking at the working class people in that area. Over 4,000?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So I can list them. The companies are enormous. And the impact is huge. So when we talk about one district, one factory, and then people
so the government is doing a lot and we don't know.
No, the government is doing a lot and the Ghanaian people are aware.
Okay.
Your platform is giving an opportunity for the Ghanaian people to be aware. Rosalie, you are not aware that government.
The 4,001 is what I'm surprised, but I know that the government has done a few
one
of
district,
the.
one factory.
That's what I said.
You are not aware that the government has brought ambulances in. You are not aware that the government has brought zipline.
We know about the ambulance.
Yes, so a number of things
we even know about
the achievements are enormous.
The delivery. We know about. Like I said, we know about a few of them.
The achievements are enormous, and as long as we continue to remain in government, you, the media, the fourth realm of the estate, gives us an opportunity to continually announce to the Ghanaian people the successes that the government is chalking every single time. We need to also remind the Ghanaian people the successes that the government has struck in years past, so that the propaganda that comes from the NDC and other people that do not want to see it would be informed appropriately of the excellent works that President Nana Danko Akufo-Addo is doing in this country. So I've listed, and I can list and list and list, and the list goes on unending.
Okay.
So if
if I have my own company and I want the assistance so that I can have a 1D, 1F in my constituency, like, you know, because I actually have a company, what are the procedures to go through so I can be able to qualify?
It's very simple.
I have a company though.
You go to the secretariat, and the secretariat will walk you through the processes.
Okay. All right.
Simple
like that.
Simple.
I'll do that. I'll pass through you. Is that fine?
No, you don't need to pass through me. I think that you're a citizen of Ghana. You benefit from this.
It's easy.
It's easier. Just go to the secretariat and then submit all the necessary documents, and
we're good to go. Right. Now, talking about that, also we know that the elections for the NPP is just around the corner. A few people have submitted. They've picked up the forms. Actually, they filed to become the flag bearer for the NPP. So many people. We don't know why anytime a party is the sitting government, there's so many people who vie to become the flag bearer of the party. I told you, just yesterday I saw a billboard, Nana something, Nana Diniho something, and I'm like, okay, now there are so many people. What's happening?
Rosalind, the New Patriotic Party is a party of leadership, which is why either in government or out of government, you would have people that would desire the highest office of leadership in terms of service to want to lead the political party. Unlike the opposition, where they don't have people, I have prayed, and I hope that the NDC does not collapse, because to have one person get over 99%, it's like, I've said it, it's like being in class 4 and telling your class that they should vote for you to become class prefect. The fact that your class has voted for you to become class prefect does not mean you become school prefect. Because school prefect is upper primary, lower primary, JHS, and the teachers in the disciplinary committee. Everybody is involved in the decision. We as a political party, definitely is a political party of leaders and great leaders who aspire for greater things. And it's a political party of vision and mission and a clear guidance to ensure that the future of this country is positioned in the right place for the Ghanaian people to benefit. So of a truth, yes, the New Patriotic Party has opened nominations for flag bearers. Flag bearers are picking up their forms, and then they are submitting their forms. I'm aware the number of people are submitting their forms. And I mean, no doubt in my mind that the Vice President, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is also going to be submitting his form on Friday at 11 o'clock at the party office. And I'm sure that the delegates would make the rightful decision after the Super Delegates Congress, which would be held in August.
Do you think do you think Mahmoud Bawumia, that's our vice president, will emerge the winner for the NPP flag?
I am very confident in the leadership of.
Do you think
he'll
get 90%?
I don't think he will get a 90% because we are a democratic party.
Okay.
We are not like the NDC.
The NDC says they are National Democratic Congress.
No, it's just a name. We are a democratic party. We are a political party with great leaders, which is why we have the number of people that are standing. We don't lack leaders. The NDC is beginning to lack leaders because they don't have an alternative. Even in their own political party, they don't have an alternative. Beyond the 3 people that stood and one decided not to go, it was only 2. Who goes for an election with a major opposition party going for an election with 2 people? So now beyond John Dramani Mahama, the next immediate person is Kojo Bonsu, who stood in the NDC. The NDC is a political party that is eminent for collapse. And I hope that they don't collapse. I hope that they will be able to ensure that the center holds, because what they are doing is almost like, Jim Collins wrote a book, How the Mighty Fall. The NDC is beginning to fall because gradually their level of oppositioning is going into oppositioning. So they are going to be oppositioning for a very longer time.
Okay.
But for us as a political party, yes, we are going to have a Super Delegates Congress in August to reduce the number to 5. And then we'll go into a main congress in November. And I'm in no doubt in my mind. Yes, I believe that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will take the lead on that day. Okay. But obviously, he is going to win in a simple majority, unlike what the NDC did to ensure that John Dramani Mahama wins 99%. I have stated that if you win a class prefect in class 4, it doesn't mean that you can become school prefect.
Okay.
The school prefect decision is by everybody.
All right, let me bring Adele in.
So, over 700,000 people voted in the NDC primaries, and the rest of us were going around holding the hands of people and telling them, vote for Mahama. And the Electoral Commission was saying, if this is the Electoral Commission that is going to supervise 2024 elections, then we have a problem, because they supervise that election. You don't think so? You don't think Jane has a problem? See, I'll tell you something. It's just 100 factories. 100. Over 100 factories. These are half brothers. They are very cunning. And see,
how are they cunning?
Very, very cunning. Very,
He just mentioned the
Remember,
the factories.
don't worry, I'm bringing you. So, we're babbing you, you're touching. Relax. Wait. Look, 100 factories in plus. Okay, so Katie Hammond. I have here an article by Katie Hammond. They submitted to Parliament that they had actually supported 60 factories. Just recently, they had supported 60 factories with funding worth 14 million Ghana cedis. However, Katie Hammond, now in a parliamentary discussion, came to clarify. He says earlier in March 2022, the ministry had communicated to Parliament that 60 companies had been provided assistance under the policy. This is City News. He comes, however, during a parliamentary session, the Minister for Trade and Industry, Katie Hammond, acknowledged the previous misconception and issued an apology that the number of factories that have been supported is 48. Take out the 48 from your 100. So you've built 60 factories, 50 factories in this country, you, from scratch to finishing, in Ghana. Hey, let me not even give credit to that. Free SHS, what have you done? What's the free SHS? What? This.
No, if you're saying this, it has enabled people who didn't have enough money to have their children in school. So don't say this, because this is somebody's, and there'll be a kumaso.
Rosalind, I'm making even
somebody's prayer request.
I'm sitting in my village. I have my son. I eat my gari with my son. You come and tell me, give me your son. I'm bringing him to Accra. I'll take him to school, and I'll get him something to eat. You take my son from the village, you bring him to Accra. I come and see my son standing in a circle and selling pure water. They get back home, they have beaten before they get food to eat. You think that is okay? You think it's acceptable? I'm telling you that.
How do they go and stand on the street?
Why? We don't. Do you know the number of buses? Do you know the number of? You want us to walk with your cameras right after here and go to circle?
They are supposed to be in school. If you go and stand there, it's because you want to stand there. Okay. You're supposed to be in school. You are being fed.
Look, I have two boys. Who work with me in my company to do wood stuff. Do you know how much money I send constantly for food? Food, Rosalind, Adriana, Eziban, food.
But you are supposed to feed your child, isn't it? Don't you feed your child?
What did they tell us? So
just subsidize.
No, what
they will give your child food, but you to subsidize, that's your child.
It's fine. So it's fine. So what they are running is okay. Everybody else sees what is running, no problem. You see, we told them that this is not how to run it. Review. They said, oh, Mahama says review. Review means cancellation. All of a sudden now they are saying review. Why are you reviewing? Why? Rose, I'm asking you. You're doing something which is good. It's fine. It's sweet. It's nice. IMF says review. You are reviewing. Why are you reviewing? Factories. Put the issues of the factories aside. One district, one factory. Then he mentioned the use of the issue of Ghanaians being able to see what the MPP is doing. And 2020 elections, you lost from 169 seats to 137. You're basically just struggling with that for one seat. You call this progress? You didn't add. You lost from 169 to 137. You said the NDC is not attractive.
No, maybe they were not happy with the parliamentarians.
No problem.
They felt that because they voted for the president anyway. Maybe the parliamentarians were not visiting their constituencies. They were not, engaging with the people like they were supposed to, because they promised they would do that. When they went there, they stopped. But it doesn't mean that development stopped, because when you look at the whole picture, the president was voted for.
Maybe in 2016, when the president had the goodwill of the people of Ghana, do you know how many votes difference it was between he and John Ramah? Between he and GM? Over 900,000 votes. How much was it in 2020?
1 million.
It's not 1 million, please. The Electoral Commission has come to indicate it's not 1 million. Okay, no problem. No problem. Mate, in Namibia, 1 million. So they got 1 million. What did you get in 2020? The president is dwindling. He will dwindle. Baumia is even worse.
How is Baumia worse?
Look, Baumia. One Fanamra. Who prefer him?
You prefer him to
the
who?
people of this country.
What about Alan?
What about who?
Alan Chavati.
One district, one factory. Alan factory. One district, one factory. The one person that may be a problem is that one person they won't give.
Who is that? Kennedy Japan? Is the NDC scared of Kennedy Japan?
I won't mention.
I'm just asking this question.
Why?
Is the NDC scared of Kennedy Japan?
If there is any loose talker in this country, it is Kennedy. Let me tell you something. Kennedy is that one person that cannot be a president. You know why?
Why?
Because, you see, being a president requires certain temerity. It requires certain temperament. I'm telling you this for a fact. Listen.
I'm listening to you.
Yes, it requires certain temperament. His ways, the way he handles issues. Yes, you can be a whistleblower. Yes, you can be that person that speaks to issues. But there are certain issues regarding national security that are not allowed to be put out there.
But we saw Donald Trump, a whole United States of America. Donald Trump. He's even, somebody will say, quote unquote, worse off
Where is he now?
Kennedy and Japan.
Where is he now?
But he was a president.
Where is he now?
It doesn't matter. He still became a president.
No.
So maybe Kennedy can also become a president.
Are you aware of the fact that Trump is actually facing trial?
I know.
You're aware?
Yes.
So let's not drag it.
So that's the reason why Kennedy...
I'm just telling you.
Are you sure the NDC is not scared of Kennedy?
Kennedy.
The question rather should be that the NDC is scared of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
My sister.
He said they are not.
No, the NDC is very, very scared.
Are you my party?
Why?
Hey, let me tell you something, Rosemary.
The NDC is very scared of Dr. Mahmoud.
We will give every child one chocolate. Where is it? We will not. Who said that? Was it Nanado? We will not borrow this country whole. The money is in. I've worked in Bank of Ghana. The money is here. We won't borrow. 600 billion. 600. 5 times more what we actually took. 600 billion. You're sitting here, you're talking, and we are coming to Bawumia. Bring him. You're trying.
So you prefer him?
Two Northerners. It's beautiful now. Bawumia, John Dramani Mahama.
We would beat John Dramani Mahama on the 7th of December 2024.
Trump?
Should Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia become the flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party. We will set the records in this country. We will let the Ghanaian people know that the consistency of 8 years and 8 years and 8 years is retrogressing the country.
Should he not become the flag bearer of the party, will you bid to the NDC?
Inshallah, whoever becomes the flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party, we will still be to the NDC.
Okay.
But I have no doubt in my mind that person is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Okay.
We would be there.
All right. So thank you so much for being here, gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. Let me take a final words, Adele, before you go.
So I basically just want to wish someone a happy birthday.
Okay.
It's not actually, a friend. It's actually a brother's friend. And the name is Juliana Asiedua of Ghana Media School. Ghana Media School, yeah. She's celebrating her birthday today. Bilal says to tell you that happy birthday this morning.
All
that
right.
he cares about you.
Okay. Paul Grave, your final word.
Yeah, he's wishing somebody a happy birthday. Where we are here to discuss national issues.
The show has ended.
But the final words for me, is that the government is working. President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo opened ECG, opened 161 kV electricity this week, cost of about $40 million. So very much the government is working, and the wheels of government is working to deliver on the mandate of President
Right.
Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Thank you so much for being here. Like I said earlier, Adele, next time you should give us the birthday. I think you should just send it to us. Add a picture. We have a special way of celebrating.
Oh, yes?
Yes. So
Awesome.
we'll do that. So you just send it to us and we'll do that.
Make him your co-host. So that he stops calling.
But I really am praying that you get to Parliament,
Okay.
I really am praying for
all
you.
right, so wishing you well.
Yeah.
We are all rooting for you. Go Paul Grave, go Paul Grave. My guests have been Adele Umar from the NDC and Paul Grave Boachidankwa from the NPP. Thank you so much for being here, gentlemen.